So Nike, what's the deal? What's really going on here? Which I think we can all kind of sit back and just blame Nike, or we can take a moment of reflection, really look at ourselves in the mirror and say, like, we created this monster right here, which I'm talking about the sneakers app, which based off the data Nike records, they're looking at our purchasing history, they're looking at the analytics, and they're seeing that when you talk about sneaker releases, it feels like the only pairs that people care about are limited, exclusive drops, releases which sell out instantly. So it looks like Nike is just kind of giving the people what they want. So I think it's a moment of self-reflection. Like, are we really the ones that created this monster, this subculture which only buys hype releases? Like, I mean, I don't know, y'all. Just for example, like, take a look at what we saw hit the sneakers app today, right? We got the Shai ones, which big shout out to our Canadian bro, Shai Alexander, which he just took home, pretty much every accolade you could think of when talk about NBA. Like, we're talking about championship, finals MVP, regular season MVP, plus so many more, right? So I was really excited for this release right here, which when you talk about this sneaker through Converse, like, if we're being all the way real with ourselves, like, let's just keep it all the way funky, right? As far as this sneaker, right? Let's say these were to just drop as like a regular GR pair of Converse sneakers. Nobody would really care about these, even myself, but for all the reasons which I just mentioned previously, like, it makes people gravitate towards sneakers like this, which we're gonna get into the stock numbers here in a minute. As far as this drop right here, like, bruh, this is absolutely insane, right? So when you talk about the last release, the Shea Butter, the first pair, them joints were super limited, right? So I understand, like, with the debut model, they're gonna be extremely limited, right? But with Nike and Converse dropping 3 different pairs of these all via the sneakers app at one time, I'm thinking, like, maybe they're giving us a chance to be able to grab these, but boy, was I wrong, which according to the stock numbers, this is reported by Uncle Chrissy, which is one of these dudes which drops the stock numbers ahead of the release. He was reporting what you guys see right here, right? Look, less than 1,000 pairs of each color, which by the time these officially drop, Eldon Monitors, who also keeps track of the inventory via the back end of the sneakers app, they reported that this drop was even more limited than what we were expecting, right? So you talk about these mossy blue joints, right? At the bottom, the baby blue ones, right? He was saying less than 500 pairs, which Eldon Monitors was saying by the time these dropped today, once these actually hit the sneakers app, bruh, they only released about 100 pairs, right? So that's absolutely mind blowing. When you break it down by size, right? I'm trying to grab a 10 and a half, bruh. They dropped 12 pairs of these, bruh. 12 pairs via the sneakers app. Like, what's happening? Like, this is absolutely mind blowing. Which these did also drop at other retailers. By the time these sold out immediately via the sneakers app, pretty much they sold out everywhere else. These were sitting on Shoe Palace, undefeated, had sizes, but once these hit the sneakers app and were gone like that, bruh, it was a wrap from there. Everybody was all over these, which is kind of crazy, right? Because this is a shoe which people were kind of weird. They were saying these were ugly, but now seeing how limited they are with the potential of like some resale margins, now everybody's all over these, which is absolutely mind-blowing. So I'm gonna be real, like, I was kind of sad about this one, but then again, another sneaker release, another day. We'll see what happens. But when you talk about like a little casual hooping shoe, I ain't gonna lie, this is one I was looking to add to the rotation. And out of these 3 colors, we're gonna continue on with the prices later on, but like, y'all see what's happening. The baby blue joints were the most limited. Which pair do you guys feel like is gonna be like the most coveted pair in the long run? You got the Hail Clay, Charm Black, baby blue joints. Now, on top of this, right, if you're wondering, like, how does Nike, continue to bring in these huge revenues with so many limited drops? Well, it's just as simple as they're making the releases more limited, right? But they're dropping them through various retailers. They're hitting the sneakers app. Plus, they're dropping a lot more volume. So just for example, Monday, we saw the Sushi Club Air Force Ones release, which of course you guys know, Nobu, the Air Force Ones, Chef Nobu, you see right here. This one apparently featured like 3 different types of leather, a more kind of premium, elegant take on the Air Force One, but real like simple, right? So as far as this drop, they reported only 500 pairs dropped on Monday, which I understand for a kind of release like this, more of a collector's item, for them to drop it limited, it makes sense to me, right? But 500 pairs, like, that's absolutely crazy, right? On top of that, we also saw the Cough Drop Foamposite 1, which when you talk about Foamposites, this is a classic Nike model, which when they dropped back in the day, this is a shoe which got a lot of love for its kind of futuristic design. We're talking about back in the day, right? These joints were like indestructible, high retail price tag. So it was a flex, right? So they've kind of always like had this big, presence here in the sneaker community. Nike's kind of had a push on the Foamposite as of lately, bringing back a lot of OG colorways as well as fan favorites. such as these calf drop joints, or some people refer to these as the bread. So with color blocking like this one always has been solid for foam positive fans. As far as this drop, they released like roughly around like 5,000 pairs of these for the sneakers app. We also saw these drop pretty much everywhere else. They dropped early ahead of the sneakers app release. And when you talk about a release like this, remember, this is a beloved pair of foam posits right here. But as far as the stock, 5,000 pairs, which translated into these joints sitting, bro. Like, these are not sold out. You can pretty much grab these anywhere. We also got this release from Pata, which of course is a Dutch-based brand, you know, with like a big, huge, like, inspiration from hip hop, sneaker culture and everything like that. So they've been teaming up with Nike. You guys know the Pata Waves, you know, the Air Max 1s, which as far as this latest collaboration, the Nike DNA, one of their newest silhouettes. I call these the 2025 Air Maxes. But when you talk about a shoe like this, they dropped around like 2,000 pairs of these for both colors. These joints are sitting, bro. Like, nobody's checking for these, right? They're not that exclusive. They're not as limited, right? 2,000 pairs you would think would be exclusive, but apparently not enough for a release like this. Let's talk about these LeBrons. These are set to debut coming up tomorrow, right? These are the LeBron 23s. Like, how crazy if for somebody to have 23 signature sneakers. Like, outside of MJ, like literally I can't think of anybody. So shout out to LeBron. This pair looks like something that comes straight out of like 2K, like something from a video game or something. Like, these are crazy. Of course, when you talk about LeBron releases, generally these are going to feature like the latest Nike tech. So you got the Zoom X midsole, carbon fiber plate, Flyknit upper. Like, they're pulling out all the stops for this shoe, which I would say these are nice, right? Kind of like a low profile basketball hooping sneaker. These are dope, man. So shout out to LeBron. Who knows how many years he's got left in the game. The upper mimics the design of a crown. Like, these are cool, right? Now, if you were looking to get your hands on these, bruh, again, Uncle Chrissy chiming in with some crazy stock numbers. Apparently, these are only going to have around 800 pairs hitting the sneakers app. And with numbers like this, I mean, tomorrow's drop could be even less. So I would just say, like, if you're looking to grab these, bruh, like, you might want to say your prayers tonight, because it ain't looking too great. So when we talk about these releases, right, via the sneakers app, Nike, they're pulling out all the stops. They're making these joints limited. And based off the data, they're seeing that if a shoe is GR, like if it's just easy available, when you talk about these exclusive drops, like literally nobody cares about them. So they're just giving the people what they want, dropping these exclusive limited releases, right? Now, we're talking about these Shai 1s, right? I'm still salty about this drop. I completely struck out on all three pairs, right? I could have gone with either of them, right? Any of these pairs would have been cool, right? But when we talk about resale prices, let's take a look here at the market, because we don't want another Shai 1 situation where we got these joints selling for crazy prices. Say, for example, I wanted to grab these in my 10.5, which I've heard these run true to size, bruh. It's gonna run me up $419, which somebody was saying when you talk about StockX, how nobody ever mentions like the fees and everything. I mean, of course, we already know we're gonna add on like an additional $50 or something like that on top of the listed price right here. So for example, we're looking at a little less than $500 for a pair of these, which, bruh, y'all already know I'm cheap. There ain't no way I'm paying $500 for a pair of shoes, which retail for around $130 or something like that. So when we talk about resale prices for this shoe, remember, pre-launch, this was a sneaker which everybody was saying was ugly. People were calling these weird, but now that they sold out, it seems like the tune is kind of changing when we talk about this drop right here. So as far as the three different colors, of course, as expected, the blue pair being a little more limited, a little more exclusive, it looks like it's bringing in the most resale value. But I have a theory that as far as in the long run, I think the black pair, you know, might actually probably hold the most value, right? Black makes sense. But when we talk about these prices, I ain't gonna lie, like, they're not crazy. They're not too crazy, man. Like, not too crazy. Like, less than $100 over the retail price. I ain't gonna lie, and based off the fact that most people probably cop these joints just looking to flip them. Remember, these didn't only release via the sneakers app. They dropped through Converse, which that drop was completely botted out. They hit other retailers as well. So my guess is that once people actually get these in hand, these joints might actually drop the retail. Like, these might even low-key be some bricks or something like that, which for me, that's ringing bells in my ear, because y'all already know, like, I just need one little casual hooping sneaker. I rock with these. This is a shoe which, let's say I was to grab, I ain't gonna lie, I'll go with any of these joints. Like, when you talk about the clay, the black, I low-key kind of want something a little more with the color, just because the shoe is just like one solid color. I feel like the black is kind of plain. although it does have some really cool, like intricate designs on here. I could go with the blue. I could go with the clay, right? So for me, if these joints hit below retail, or if the price comes down a little bit, I'll probably pull the trigger, because I was looking to rock these casually, you know, get off a couple little fits with them. And then after that, they're just gonna become like casual hooping sneakers. So you guys see what's happening over here with Nike, bro. We know exactly what's happening right here. They're looking at the data. They see that when they drop a release and it's not limited, nobody cares. So in return, you see what's happening right here. So I think it's a moment to kind of look at ourselves in the mirror and just admit we created the monster on our own. So JATV, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Of course, I'll be back later to check in with you guys for the latest updates. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. And if you guys enjoyed the update, smash that like button. Consider subscribing. Next time, love.